Line editor coming at you on a Friday. Why? Because Friday, you ain't got no job. You ain't got shit to do. I hope some of you get that reference. Before I start the video, of course, if you like the video, give it the thumbs up. Smash that like thing. Click on it. Smash whatever. The bell thing, the notifications, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. So this is my chance to interact with you guys live. I like doing that. It's cool. Any questions you have, I'm not saying I'll have all the answers. And maybe it's some deeply personal question I won't want to answer, but most of the questions I guarantee you I will tackle. It's been a crazy week. Biggest story in the industry. Bigger story to most of you than, impending war between Russia and Ukraine or Omicron or anything like that. You don't care about that. You only care about are Matt Jansen and Nick Walker working together or not. And I honestly don't know the answer to that. Nick did say a few days ago, he went on his Instagram and said everything's fine. They worked it out. So I haven't heard anything officially from either Matt or Nick since then. If you guys know of anything, I'm sure if anything had been released, everybody would have made a video about it by now anyway. So I'm just going to go under the assumption that they are working together still, which is good because I know they have a really good friendship, a great working relationship. A good coach does become more than just a coach. Does become a good friend. I mean, they go through so much with these contest preps, and Matt and Nick have been together working since his North American win back in 2020. So it's been a couple of years now. He probably started prepping for the 2020 North American, spring 2020. All right, so I'm going to get to some of your questions. Let's see, we have one. It might be just a comment. You never know. But that's what I'm here for, guys. Whatever you want to talk about. This is your show. This is your show right now. Have you been to Nate's Gym Hub in Boston, says Nicholas Hamad? No, I want to. His gym, so Nate Tello is a new pro. Jose Raymond's good friend. Jose turned him pro. Jose coaches him. Nate is opening up very soon to the public. It's a gym near Downtown Crossing downtown that's it's going to have private training areas for trainers to work with clients and an open gym area. And I'm excited to go there because the equipment was handpicked. Jose and Nate went all over the place. They went down to Florida, the Redcon gym. They went to various gyms all over the place, looking at different pieces of equipment, trying them all out, picking the very best pieces of equipment. So I'm psyched, but I have not been there yet. I'll have to go on a weekend, probably. Boston. I'm a country mouse. I grew up in the suburbs. I live in the suburbs now. Nate says you can find street parking if you're on the weekends, and Jose says there's a garage, a parking garage right next to it. It's like $14. So I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out soon. I want to check it out with my son. My son, he'll probably come home from UMass one of these weekends coming up if I'm not there sooner than that. MK677 goes with Testosterone, says Paratus. Here's where I say I have no idea. I didn't even hear about Testosterone until like a month ago, maybe, when I know Derek from More Plates, More Dates. Was he the one that really broke it as far as making it a must-have supplement that people are all into now? And I watch all Coach Greg Doucette's videos. He sells it. I have not tried it at all. I use steroids. I mean, I'm not worried about these SARMs and peptides and test boosters. I just go for regular steroids. Cape Verde. Wow. Cape Verde is it's off the coast of Africa. They speak Portuguese. We have a lot of Cape Verdeans and Brazilians in my area here, South Shore, Massachusetts. Hi, can you tell me what are the side effects of TRT? Thanks. So TRT, just to clarify, because a lot of people are using that phrase now just to describe being on steroids, which is not the case. TRT is testosterone replacement therapy. It's typically done through a doctor, and they will prescribe you just enough testosterone to get you into a high normal range. And they confirm that dose by giving you a few different blood tests after they start administering it, and they'll increase or decrease the test dosage until they get you into what they feel is an optimal zone. So the side effects are the same as you could. If you're just using that amount, you really shouldn't have any side effects. Most of the side effects that we associate with steroids are from these large doses that we as bodybuilders use, not TRT doses. TRT dose, making that clear once again, that is just enough testosterone to put you into a high normal range. bodybuilders, they're way beyond that range, 10, 20 times normal range testosterone. That's when you start having hair loss, gynecomastia, acne, water retention, high blood pressure, could have calcification of the artery starting. There's a lot of bad side effects. If you Google steroid side effects, you'll see them all, but those are the major ones. But with TRT, you really shouldn't experience those because, once again, it's just bringing you to a normal range of testosterone for your body. Let's see. What language is that, Turgut? Merhaba arkadaşım. I assume you're saying something good because I see a lot of emojis that look like they're positive in nature. So, Roadrunner 99, TRT detectable in a drug test? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be because you would theoretically just show normal amounts of testosterone in your body. You wouldn't show. So when they do the drug testing, specifically for testosterone, it's a ratio that they're looking for. It's testosterone to epitestosterone, and I don't know what the threshold is, but if you're just on enough testosterone to get you in a normal range, you should be okay. Now, I do know that a lot of natural federations do not even allow TRT. I don't know how they would know you were on TRT because I guess a lot of them use polygraph testing too. They do not condone that. Even if you legitimately need TRT and you're on it, they will not let you compete in their natural federation. I don't know which federations those are. What's up? Harry Balls. I love the names some of you guys have for your YouTube handles here. I already lost it. Where'd it go? Harry Balls. Damn, it's late here, man. 10:30 p.m. What's the time of your place? 4:33. So if you're 6 hours ahead, you're in like France or Germany, something like that, or somewhere. I know UK is 5 hours ahead. And I think as you go into the main continent of Western Europe, 6 hours ahead. I know Greece, where I do the show with Dr. Touliados right now, they're 8 hours ahead of me. Okay, let's see. Nicholas, Hamad, will you be attending the Boston Pro? Of course I will be attending the Boston Pro. Come on, guys. It's a 30-minute drive, 30-minute drive from my house. We're covering it for Muscular Development. It's the week after the Arnold Classic. You're going to get a lot of people from the Arnold. I mean, some of them have already committed. I know Regan Grimes is committed. Brandon Curry will be there. I don't believe he's going to compete. I think he is competing at the Arnold for sure. He's on the list of people for the meet and greet, which tells me he's not competing. Phil Clayhar is jumping into that. He wasn't invited to the Arnold. He's going to be a strong contender for Boston Pro. Don't know exactly who's going in, but I assume a few of the guys from the Arnold. So it's going to be a really strong show. Yeah. But, we have, the Arnold Classic. Where's my list of Arnold people? Let's see, who would go in? Brandon's not going to go in. Bonac? Maybe Bonac. If Bonac goes in, he could easily win that. Kukla? If Kukla goes in, sure. Regan's really good. Cedric, Justin Rodriguez, Akim Williams. Shaban dropped out. Brett Wilkin, very good. Samson Dauda, very good. Max Charles, yeah. And, of course, Fabio Giga Resende. I actually did an interview with Fabio Giga. His last name is Resende, but just like everyone in Brazil calls Ramon's real name is Ramon Rocha Queiroz, but everyone calls him Ramondino. And this gentleman who's doing the Arnold Open, he won the Arnold Amateur back in 2020 as a super heavy, and he won the overall. Fabio Giga. He's got like 1.4 million subscribers, followers on Instagram. I think he's got over 1 million subscribers to his YouTube channel. Very, very popular guy. Jeez, what the hell was the question even? Oh, man, I hope I have, I'm not even answering the questions. Turgut Persin wanted to know about 250 milligram Sustanon. I don't know. Is that a question? Turgut Persin also says 191 amino acid. I don't know. Ratan Prakash Niji, you have such a wide range of knowledge. Thank you. Lots of love and respect from India. Yeah, India is a huge bodybuilding. So many fans, so many people over there training. You know, I'm glad to see the globalization of bodybuilding over the past couple decades. It's huge in places like India, huge in Brazil. Many years ago, the USA was the hub of bodybuilding. Now, look at, you got Egypt, Kuwait, Dubai, Brazil, all these countries with so many great champions coming out of them. It's cool to see. We'll never be in the Olympics, but it truly is a worldwide sport now. Turgut again, Decadurablin. You're just rattling off a lot of drugs. I don't know if there's a question there. Drew Fisher, do you think YouTubers are putting an age limit on bodybuilding and retirement age? Hmm. I don't know what you mean by that, Drew. What do you mean exactly? How would YouTubers? Are you saying that because of YouTube people are staying in the sport longer or they're retiring younger? I don't think it has any impact, but clarify that because I don't think I answered what you really wanted me to answer. So please get some more typing in there. Kevin Goshi, Ron, what was your favorite muscle magazine? MD, Flex, Muscle and Fitness, Ironman. Oh, you're listing all the magazines. I wrote for almost all. I wrote for all those at one point or other, except for Flex. I actually did have one in Muscle and Fitness, so I did write for. I wrote for MD obviously since 2001. Flex never. Muscle and Fitness one. Ironman I had hundreds of articles in Ironman. Ironman's where I got my start, by the way. In 1992, they were the first magazine to publish me, so I'll always be grateful to John Balick and Steve Holman from Ironman. They were the first ones to give me a chance, publish me, and things kind of went from there, obviously. I loved Ironman back in the day. I loved Muscle Mag International back in the day. Muscle Mag International, the late Bob Kennedy's magazine, him and Johnny Fitness, had a very enthusiastic feel to it. They loved bodybuilding. You could tell they were having fun with it. There was a lot of candid photos and funny articles along with the contest coverage and the training and all that. Muscle Media 2000. Did you list that one? Planet Muscle, you did not. You didn't list Muscle Media 2000. That was a great magazine too. Bill Phillips ran that. He also owned the EAS company. I was privileged enough to write for them for a while too. And Muscle Media 2000 was groundbreaking. They were the first ones to really talk about steroids. They Bill hired Dan Duchesne to write a monthly column. They had a lot of great articles, just great writing. I loved Muscle Media 2000. So I can't really pick a favorite, but I guess if you really press me, I'd go with the old Muscle Mag International back in the day. I love that magazine. I used to read it cover to cover all the time. Let's see what else we got. Too good. I wish I could read. I don't even know what language this is. Kanal Kok Guzel Akadasim Benim. Is that Arabic? I don't know. Someone's going to say, that's not Arabic, you idiot. Guy with a bunch of Cyrillic characters. I don't know if he's from Russia, the former Soviet Union, says, what do you think about a cycle only with Trenbolone Acetate? You could do it. I mean, if you're just going to do one steroid for a cycle, I think you'd be the best with test. Test is best. Testosterone. It's what the body makes naturally. You really could not go wrong with a test-only cycle. A lot of people, that was their first cycle. A lot of people, or it would be test and deca. Mine was test and deca. But a lot of people just did a little bit of test, 4 or 5. I should say a little bit, but it's compared to what people do grams and grams. Tren, yeah, you could do it, but it's a harsh drug. Acetate, you'd have to inject it every other day. People love it because it's fast acting, but it's really harsh. It has a lot of side effects. A lot of people just don't feel good. They can't sleep. They get what they call trensomnia. They have they're sweating while they're sleeping. Get the tren cough when you inject. A lot of people get angry on it. I mean, I've used it and I will use it again, I'm sure. Typically in the summer months in very brief periods of time. I'll use it for like 4 to 6 weeks max tren. It does work very well, but man, it's a rough drug. It's harsh. Okay. It's 3:03 a.m. in India. Goodness gracious. Frankfurt 22. Trenbolone stop. Oh boy. Cadillac Smith, any thoughts on doing an interview with Victor Black? Who is Victor Black? I have no idea who Victor Black. Who's Victor Black? Why should I know him? Tell me and I'll tell you. If there's something fascinating about him, I'll track him down and interview him. But I've never heard of Victor Black. Anybody else? Anybody? Sean C., did you use XTC and Music Rave Days for your contest prep? Oh, so ecstasy. I did use ecstasy. I used to rave. So my raving heydays, I got into it a little later in life. Didn't know. In my 20s, I never went out. I was natural most of my 20s, but I did not go out. I didn't go to bars, clubs. I was very boring. I was married. I got married at 21. But we didn't go out. We didn't go out to clubs or anything. I didn't start doing that till I was about 30. And from about 30 to 36, I would say those are my partying, my clubbing years. I used ecstasy. I loved ecstasy. I'm not going to lie. Loved it. Hated the way I felt the next day. It made me feel incredible while I was on it. You know, the music sounded incredible. Your own skin felt good. You know, a woman's skin, my wife's skin felt fantastic. Sex was great. You had so much energy while you were there. Yeah, I loved XC, but the coming down the next day, man, you felt like shit. I remember being like, I couldn't sleep. I'd be like under the covers with the fan going, like shivering and just feeling like, you know, 3-day-old dog shit. So eventually I stopped using it, and I'm too old. It'd probably give me a heart attack if I used it now. But yeah, there was a club in Boston that I used to go to. It's called Royale now, but it was called the Roxy. And that was where all the meatheads used to go and party on Saturday night. They'd get all dressed up. Their girls would be all dressed up, glammed up, hair, nails, you know, jewelry, all that stuff, and ecstasy. And the after parties after like Olympias back in the day, like Craig Titus used to put on, Craig and Kelly used to put them on. Everybody was on drugs. Everybody was rolling. And you know what? The one good thing I will say about that is there were never fights. People, when they're drunk, guys especially if they're sexually frustrated, they can't get laid, they've been trying to pick up girls in the club, they get so, they're looking for a fight by the end of the night. And I've seen a lot of drunk guys start fights over stupid shit. You look at them wrong, or you didn't even look at them. But on ecstasy, it was all love. Let me tell you, these guys have their shirts off, sweat pouring off them, high-fiving each other. Love you, brother. You look great. You know, so yeah, I was deep into that scene for a few years, but I had to get out. I could see it was I could have a problem with it if I didn't stop. Vigar Seljanis, who had the most overrated bodybuilders for the open show of the Strong Classic Ohio. Overrated. So overrated would be someone who were hyping up too much and they're not very good. Who would you say that about in this list? I don't know. I mean, I guess if you want to go by expectations versus what they've done, Cedric McMillan, because he hasn't really delivered in a while. Cedric has a fantastic physique. He's had a lot of bad luck, injuries, things like that, illnesses. But man, that's a guy. I don't want to say he's overrated. It's just he hasn't delivered on what I felt he was capable of doing in this sport. And you know, he has other things going. He has a wife. He has kids. He has a charity foundation for kids in his town. So his whole life doesn't depend on showing up shredded at these shows and winning. But man, the guy's genetics are fantastic. When he turned pro back in, was it 2009? I remember, I think Lee Haney was there. That was one of the last, I haven't been to too many nationals. I was at that one. I remember Lee Haney said, this guy's going to be Mr. Olympia. And I said, definitely, he's definitely going to be Mr. Olympia. Look at him. And here we are, all these years later. It didn't really happen. Let's see. What do we got now? What's your favorite ever show, Ron, and why? I assume you mean bodybuilding show? Not like TV show, like The Walking Dead or something, right? Favorite show? I guess I've been to a lot of shows, obviously. I'd probably go with my first Olympia, 1991 in Orlando, just because there was so much history in that one show. It was Lee Haney's 8th and final Olympia. He retired on stage with a speech, 31 years old with 8 titles. Dorian Yates, that was his first Olympia. He took a very strong second place, really pushed Lee Haney. You had a lot of greats in that show. Vince Taylor, Lee Labrada, Rich Gaspari. Samir Bannout was in that. It was a really great lineup that year, and it was my first Olympia. So it was really exciting, really special for me. I was working with the production crew. The company I worked for at the time, American Sports Network, we were doing the production for ESPN to make a 1-hour special out of that show. And it was at the Walt Disney World Dolphin. Ronnie Coleman was there working security for the IFBB. He was just walking around in a polo shirt, said security, with these big arms. I think he had just turned pro like a month before, but nobody knew who he was. And man, everyone was staying. It was at the Walt Disney World Dolphin Hotel, and everyone was staying at that hotel. And you had like the Barbarian Brothers were there. Geez, all the greats. This is 1991. It was still that 80s into the early mid-90s, the end of that. That was the end of the real golden era, because after that, everyone started moving away from LA. The internet really started changing the game. That was still a time when there was more of a mystique to bodybuilding. It was very different back then. I don't know if I answered that question. Arturo Avalos, what's up, Ron? Nice to catch you live. Thank you. Okay, Drew Fisher again. I'm 46 and feel that I'm in my prime. Turned pro 2019. Oh, that's right. I know who you are, Drew. Beating guys half my age. YouTubers keep saying that post 40 is beyond prime, but I'm just getting going. What's your thoughts? I mean, why would you put any stock in the opinion of someone else in a category, in an issue like that? You know, if you're 46, you know, you're hitting your prime. Of course, a lot of these guys with YouTube channels, some of them are like a teenager. So to them, a guy who's 40 is very, very old, and he has no business even being part of the industry as far as they're concerned. I'm 52. I'm like a great grandfather to them as far as they know. So yeah, Drew, I wouldn't even. It's how you look, how you feel. You know, you could be 46 and look fantastic. You know, we take care of ourselves so much better now than in bygone eras. So a 45 to 50-year-old man looks a lot different now, and especially in bodybuilding. You know, especially if you haven't beaten the shit out of your body for 30 years already, you can be pretty awesome in your 40s. I honestly think I hit my peak 35 to like 43 was probably my peak. Yeah. Turgut, I do not speak this language. That looks like German. Ich komme aus Türkei. But I don't speak German. I only speak English and enough Spanish to be dangerous, meaning I can start a conversation, but once it gets going, I'm screwed. I have to like say, I don't really speak that much Spanish. I'm sorry, I let you down. Yuri Bezmenov was right. I don't know who Yuri is. Ron, 207 pounds, 2.5-year lifter. Gained 45 pounds. Great. Arms are stalled out at only 16.5 inch. Getting ready to run my second cycle of D-ball and 500 mg test. Suggestions for rep ranges for thickness. I mean, arms have been my bane. I've been training I started in 1983. So this September will be, and that was consistently. I've been messing around a little before that. So that means this September will mark 39 years of consistent training for me. Good God, that's a long time. You know, so what I found for me worked for my arms, and they never got to be very enormous, as many of you would like to point out to me. Thank you. You're so kind. Different rep ranges, but I think it's more form and feeling. Mind muscle connection. Don't be afraid to do high reps and get a pump. I don't think very low reps do much for arms. It's a small muscle group. I don't think, you know, trying to curl 80-pound dumbbells for like 3 or 4 shitty reps, I don't think that's going to do anything for you. I'd rather see someone do 40 pounds at the most and really squeeze the muscle, feel it squeeze, feel it stretch on every rep. Yeah, I mean, if there was a formula that worked for everybody for arms, we'd all be following it. We'd all have these giant arms. A lot of it does come down to genetics, unfortunately. I see people with these huge arms, and they're you know, there's like nothing else on them. They have no back, no chest, no legs. Why do they have such big arms? Just great genetics. You know, why don't other people's arms grow? It could be bad form. It could be overtraining. It could just be bad genetics, you know. Genetics, they're a very painful pill to swallow, but they do determine the way we look. They really do. I mean, in a perfect world, we'd all have perfect genetics for bodybuilding, but we don't. So I would just say you're still, Yuri, well, that's not your name. You're still in your early stages of lifting, 2.5 years. You're an intermediate. I would just keep banging away on the compound movements, really heavy rows, presses, things like that. Heavy back, chest, and shoulder work is going to do plenty for your arms too, along with the direct arm work. But, you know, if you're eventually getting to the point where you can do good form on barbell rows at 405, you can do a military press with 315, you could bench press 405 for a set of 10. If you get to that point, you're not going to have small arms. It's you're going to be a bigger guy. You're going to have a lot more muscle thickness everywhere. You know, they say take care of the big body parts and the little body parts will take care of themselves. I do believe you still need to do direct arm work and so forth, but there is a lot to be said for compound movements and having that carryover effect, because it's so much weight, it's so much resistance. There's no way you can row a ton of weight or, you know, do weighted chin-ups without really using your arms and making them work hard. Here we go, more German talk about Trenbolone. Kaputt, that means something's dead or over, right? I know that one. Trenbolone macht Herz kaputt, das ist Griff. Wow, I don't know. What's your weight, Ron? 221. Yeah. Highest I've ever been was 247, and it was not. It was not pretty. It was not comfortable. It was not healthy. It was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I was doing insulin before and after every workout. I think I was doing, this is alarming. I think I was doing 10 and 10, or it might have been 20 and 20 units. And eating a bunch of cookies. Not the smartest thing. Milos reprimanded me for it later when I told him about it, but it was years later. Couldn't go back in time. But you're supposed to have just pure, you know, glucose, sugar. You're not supposed to be mixing fat in there because that slows down the whole digestion and absorption of the carbs. So I messed up. But anyway, yeah, I like to hang around 220. For the summer, I'll go down close. I'll go down to like 210, 212. I'm really, really lean at around 210, 212. If you go back on my Instagram, at Ron Harris Muscle, you'll see I kept a very, very lean condition all the way from about May to October. And then, you know, I'm not fat by any means now, but I was a lot leaner then. I can, you know, I just have no incentive to be that lean now, but I'll start eating much, much cleaner soon. Marvin. Let's see, what's your weight, Ron? Marvin, remember Trey Brewer? What happened to him? I believe, as far as I know, he's a firefighter. Someone that I message occasionally says that he goes to his gym. He's still a very big, strong guy, but, you know, had no interest in pursuing this pro bodybuilding career. I think he saw there was no guaranteed future in it. And he's doing great as far as I know. I don't know if he's got wife, kids, any of that stuff. I have no idea. Davis Realty, I'm 54. Recently beat guys in the open lightweight of the Daytona Beach Classic. I also won the middleweight class in the open in multiple shows. Yes, that's a comment, not a question. That's a great job. Great job, Dave. I assume you own the company. You're Mr. Davis. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to be able to do that. To beat open guys. It becomes harder, and I'm not trying to downplay your accomplishments, sir. It becomes harder the heavier up the weight classes you go. It's pretty hard for a 54-year-old guy to win an open heavyweight or super heavyweight in even a regional show up against the guys who are, you know, 25 to 35 is usually the range of the best open guys at that level. But congratulations, that's excellent. Turgut is in Istanbul, which is Turkey. Yep. Arturo Avalos, what are your thoughts on the special invitation for Flex Lewis? I put it all out there on a video that we posted on this channel. It's actually not my video. It's an edition of No Way Jose, a show we like to do every week with Jose Raymond and I talking about it. And we talked all about that. I'm all for it. He was all for it. So if you want to hear us ramble on about that for like 40 minutes, please check out that video. It was posted just this morning. It's on this channel, Muscular Development. Yuri, you're 5'11". I didn't really, that really doesn't change whatever the info I was offering you. Dave Coffer, congratulations, Davis Realty. Oh yeah, I agree. Congratulations, that's a great job. Yuri, you're welcome. Dr. DJ Leader, hey brother Ron, when do you see yourself stopping your cycles and only taking TRT, HRT? Also love Muscle Media 2000, Bill Phillips, honestly. Well, yeah, when am I gonna go down to pure TRT? It would be based on my health markers. It would be based on my blood work, what's going on with my heart, my liver, my kidneys, my organs, basically, calcium inside my arteries. And I am very, very fortunate, knocking on wood right now. So far, so good. I do have an appointment with my primary care physician on Monday. She's delayed this appointment. I'm pissed off. You know, I was supposed to have my physical back in like November. Here we are, February. That's how backed up doctor's appointments are. Anyway, I'll be meeting with her. I'm going to be getting blood work, blood panel. I'm going to be looking at everything, you know, everything, blood sugar, liver, kidney. And I have a cardiologist I see once a year. I do a heart scan with him. So as long as I'm in good health, I don't see a need to back off all the way down to TRT. The last one of these I did, someone gave me a new term that I'm going to start using. TOT, testosterone optimization therapy, which is not TRT, but it's using a little bit more, and you might throw in things like a little bit of growth hormone or DECA to look and feel as good as you want to look and feel. And of course, you got to stay on top of your health. So in my case, yeah, if I see that there's a concern that I need to back down because these things are adversely affecting my health, and I don't want to die. I'm 52. My dad died when he was 56 of cancer. He wasn't a steroid user, obviously. Should be obvious. But, I would like to live much longer than that. How much longer? I don't know. See, the thing is, we're all going to die someday. When do you want to die? You don't want to die young. I hope you don't want to die young. Nobody wants to die. I've had this conversation before, but it's crazy how we don't talk about it. We don't like to think about it because it's inevitable. We are all going to die. When? We just don't know when, None of these people that died last year in bodybuilding, I'm sure none of them thought they were going to die. They certainly didn't think they were going to die like anytime soon. I don't think I'm going to die anytime soon, but who knows? I could stop recording this and, God forbid, I could have a stroke or an aneurysm or heart attack or something. My heart is in very good shape, thank God, again. I do get the scans, EKG, the ultrasound, the calcium scores. But yeah, that's the answer. Is I'm going to keep using, and I don't blast a ton of gear. I don't. I do every fourth day right now. I do 200 milligrams of Testosterone, 100 milligrams of DECA. Every night before I go to bed, I do 2.5 units of growth hormone. When I want to blast, I'll add in a little bit of Tren or something. Not much. Like probably about 300 milligrams a week total Tren. If it's acetate, I would do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 100 milligrams a day. So, that's still, it's not TRT. It's not. And I don't say I'm on TRT because I'm not on TRT. But I hope I answered you there. That's when I'm going to stop. Big face. Yeah, I've put on a little bit of weight. I need to, my wife's been baking. When it's wintertime, she likes to bake and she makes delicious cookies. She's been buying muffins and cupcakes. Even she says she needs to chill out too. We've been putting on a little bit of weight, nothing, crazy. Big face muscles years ago, dread. Trained forearms or no? I think if you're going to have huge forearms, you would have huge forearms just from lifting weights, from grabbing the weights, from pushing and pulling and holding on to whatever the bar, the dumbbells, the machines. If you have really skinny forearms, yeah, by all means train them. They're going to get better. It's like if you have skinny calves, you're probably never going to have huge calves. I'll tell you what it comes down to with forearms, with anything. It's the length of the muscle. So where does it insert? If you look at people like Flex Lewis, the late Mentor brothers were good examples, Dorian, these people with massive forearms, see mine inserts, you can see where it inserts, way down here. Theirs goes all the way up, almost to the wrist. Like if you see people with enormous calves, their calves insert very low, almost at the ankle. Whereas people with shitty calves, the insertion is way up, like just under the knee. So that means there's no muscle cells in there in that huge expanse from where the insertion is to all the way down to the ankle joint. You can't build muscle where there's no muscle cells. And the same thing with forearms. If your forearm muscle ends up here, say, you can't build anything in that remaining area. It's just not possible. But yeah, train them. They'll get better. They're not going to be massive. If they were going to be massive, they'd already be big. That's, just like calves. But by all means, train them. I wouldn't tell anyone not to train them. John Knight, what is your opinion on the new rules for teens to compete? So yeah, what John is referring to is last weekend, an edict, a rule came down from the NPC stating that no one under 18 would be allowed to compete anymore. So you have to be 18 to compete. You can't be 16, 17, 15, 13. I think it's great. I'm all for it. Why? Because PED use, drug use, steroids, all these other drugs, you could say, well, they're going to use them anyway. Yeah, of course they are. But if they're going to compete, they're going to use a lot more drugs. Definitely. And this, I've said this before, the The cycles that we run as bodybuilders in contest prep are much, much worse, much more dangerous than a typical off-season cycle. It's larger amounts of steroids because now you're not trying to just build muscle with a surplus of calories and everything. Now you're trying to hold on to all your muscle while you get rid of every last bit of body fat, which the human body does not want to carry a ton of muscle and no fat at the same time. It's like an impossible thing in nature. So another thing is, you had girls doing like bikini that were like 14, 15. Do you really think 14, 15-year-old girls should be up on stage in a bikini and heels? It's like, it's not as creepy as those beauty pageants where you'd see like children in, bikinis and stuff, but I think it's a great idea. I think anybody, people coming down on it saying, well, I started when I was 15, 16, I had a great experience. Okay. But I doubt the drugs were as extensive back then. I've also interviewed people who were competing as teens, and they started on steroids at like 15, 16 years old because they knew they wanted to compete. If you knew you couldn't compete until you were 18, you would either not start steroids till later, or you wouldn't be blasting and blasting because, you knew you still had to wait. So I'm all for it. That's my thing. I'm hammered. Ham sandwich with mustard. How frequently do you train calves? It says Duke Dukem. I do them every leg day, which for me is every fourth day. So the split I've been following now for 2 years or more is push, pull, legs, off, repeat. So I do them on every leg day, every fourth day. But my calves are at a pretty good point now. They're solid 18 inches, very, very ripped. I have pretty decent genetics for calves. I don't have like Flex Lewis calves, Mike Matarazzo calves, but they're pretty good. If I was someone wanting desperately to build calves, I would do them every other day. I wouldn't do it a lot for them every time. I would do 2 exercises, maybe four sets. I would keep the reps high, like 15 to 25. Occasionally you can do some 10 rep sets, but I don't think that does a whole lot for calves. Full range of motion all the way up on the tiptoes. Let the heel come down and stretch them really, really well. Get up when you're done with the calves. Get up on a block with one foot, let it stretch, hold that stretch for like 30 seconds, switch to the other foot. I would do them every other day. Yeah. Ever had intersection syndrome? Asks Shantendo. I don't know what that is. I try to be knowledgeable, guys, but I really don't know everything. Intersection syndrome, what is that? Jazza27. Hi, Ron. Is Phil Heath competing again? He has not said that he's retired. I don't believe he'll compete again. I don't see why he would. He's got nothing to prove. 7-time Mr. Olympia. His placings were going down a little bit every time after he's tried to get his title back. So what's the point of him coming back and taking like 5th place or 6th place when he was the greatest? He was almost unbeatable for close to a decade. I would even argue that the last Olympia before he started winning was 2010. He should have, when Jay beat him, he should have won that one too. He should have had 8 Olympias. He was fantastic at that show. Let's see. Jay Jarstar, what do I think of pro hormones and SARMs? I love them. I think they're great for someone wanting an edge, but not interested in being too big. Referring to DHEA-based products for Andro. The thing is, they are drugs. Pro hormones and SARMs are drugs. And there's no research on them because they haven't been around that long. I would just use steroids. They've been around for decades and decades. We know what they do. We know what their side effects are. We know what the long-term effects are. All these people that they don't want to do steroids, but they're on pro hormones and SARMs. Well, you're on drugs. You're on drugs. You're not on steroids, but you're on drugs. And pro hormones actually they are oral steroids. They just haven't been classified because there's no testing available for them. But trust me, they are drugs. They have side effects, the water retention, the acne. They shut down your natural production of testosterone. They have all the same bad side effects. I mean, I would just do steroids. That's my personal feeling. Dimitrios Christakis. Good Greek name. I like 25 reps across the board. If that works well for you, you know what? There are no rules. There are no rules. If something works for you, it works. And you can't argue with results. If somebody could get shredded eating donuts and pizza every day, that works for them. I'm not saying it would work for anybody else, but if it works for them, you can't argue. You can't tell them, you shouldn't do that. That's not going to work. It's working. If 25 reps gives you the results you want, doing that for everything, keep doing it. We have these rep ranges. It's based on time under tension, 8 to 12 reps, 12 to 15, 15 to 20. I like to use a wide variety of reps personally. I don't go very low, of course, because the heavy weights are just, my joints can't handle that shit anymore. But whatever rep range that you find, if low reps work well for you and you're putting on size, you're getting pumps, and if very high reps, whatever works for you. And if you've tried a lot of different things and you found something that works, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. That's my say on that. Gregory Adams. Greg, great regional bodybuilder at one time. I'm kind of wondering how good a shape the guys, the Arnold, will be. This is a very short prep for most guys entering like 10 to 12 weeks prep. I think they'll all be in shape. Or the vast majority of them. It's the Arnold Classic. Most of them, the fact that it's a short prep, it's because a lot of them, they were competing at the Olympia, and even some of them, like Regan, did a bunch of post-Olympia shows, so they never had time to get out of shape. So that actually should mean there's a higher likelihood of them being in good shape. They never had a chance to get fat. So I think everybody, pretty much. Curry's already looking. You look at their Instagram, you can see. It's 5 weeks from today. Curry's already looking incredible. Bonak's looking good. Kuklow's looking ripped. Regan's looking great. Rodriguez, Justin's looking great. Akeem, geez. See that picture of Akeem, the front double bicep? Biceps are like mountains. It's crazy. Brett Wilkin, Brett's going to be in shape. There's no question in my mind. Samson Dauda, it looks like he can get on stage right now. Max Charles looks great. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Greg. They're going to be in shape. Dimitrios. They have not made the list yet? What list? The Arnold list has been out for weeks. Go to Arnold Sports Festival. All the info for the show is there. The list has been out for weeks now. JJ Star, they definitely shut down natural test production. Yeah, SARMs and pro hormones, they do. My test was 53 while on one andro, yeah. Anything that's exogenous, it's artificial, that you put in that's giving you more testosterone or, raising your hormonal levels, your body's immediately going to shut down its own production because it's I'm saying like your body has this conscious mind. I don't need to make that anymore. My body, So yeah, all that stuff will shut you down. Is 42 too old for a first cycle? No. Why would it be? Just monitor your health, Do your research. Get your blood work done. Get your heart scans done. It's... I'd say there's really no age that's too old to start steroids. Too young? Yeah, there's definitely ages. I don't like to see teenagers on steroids because they're so mentally immature, emotionally immature. Most of them, someone's going to say, well, I'm 18 and I'm president of a company, whatever. But you have all your natural production at that time. Why would you squander that very brief window of opportunity in your life when your body's making so much testosterone by pumping in some steroids? So no, 42, no, I wouldn't say that's too old at all. What's a good fat burning protocol? I'll probably have to do a whole other show on that. That's something I really can't go through in like 30 seconds. I love the show. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you watching. No, the pro hormones, my bad. Barry Rims. I started my cycle at age 71. I'm the most shredded 79 in my nursing home. I don't know if you're a bit joking or not, but if I was 71 and I'd lost a lot of strength and size and vitality, a lot of these things that we associate with growing old are really just a loss of testosterone and growth hormone as we get older. So you can have a better quality of life by replacing those things that the body isn't making anymore. So why not? Why wouldn't you? If you could feel much better and look much better, have more energy, have more sex drive, perform better, why would you not do that if you had that option and it wasn't adversely affecting your health? Why not? 71. I don't know if you're kidding or not. If that's a true, Barry, if that's all true, then God bless you, sir. I think you did it. Dimitrios Christakis, 35 to 40, I'd say is the largest drop. I don't know. I think it's more of a gradual decline that starts somewhere around 30, 35. Obviously, as a teen, your highest testosterone levels are going to be, roughly 15 to 25, that decade, roughly. And things will start slowly going down from there. They have to. You can't stay like that forever because, we're designed to breed. That's what human beings are designed to do, is make more human beings. Whether you believe in God or intelligent design or just evolution or whatever. But that's the main function of any species, is to reproduce and continue the species. And we have these reproductive primes, men and women. And once we get past that, the hormones don't need to be as high because we're not really in prime reproductive age anymore. Demetrios, you speak the truth. Well done. Thank you. Shantendo, does test make you less injury prone? I would say test makes you more injury prone. And I'm stealing this from Greg Doucette, even though I've known this myself for years. But steroids help you build a lot more size and strength than you would be able to naturally acquire. So here's the thing. Your tendons, your ligaments, all these connective tissues that we have, they don't really get much stronger, but then you have your muscles growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So now you have a pec it went from this big to this big, but the tendon that holds that pec on to the shoulder over here is the same size. And now you're bench pressing 400 or 500 pounds. And I think steroids make you far more susceptible to injury because they make you so much bigger and stronger. The risk for injury is a lot greater simply because connective tissues, they're never going to be able to grow to catch up to them. It's impossible. You'd have tendons like, like garden hoses, which doesn't happen. Use steroids for what though? You don't have to use them. Don't use them if you don't want to use them. The steroids are an individual choice. I don't judge anybody. People that matter don't judge. People that judge don't matter. If you want to use them and you're an adult, you're not hurting anybody. It's your body. It's your choice. I want you all to stay safe. Take care of yourself. Do a lot of research. Know what they do. Know what the different drugs are. Side effects. Get all your blood work done. Just stay on top of that and make sure you're not harming yourself. There's always going to be a degree of risk, and there's always going to be a little bit of harm. Always. If you're using enough steroids to really make you that much bigger and stronger, it's not safe. There's no safe way to use huge amounts of steroids. There are safer ways. I actually did another video. I'm going to plug another video about a month ago with a guy named Larry Pollock. Very, very intelligent guy out on the West Coast, California. Larry's been on steroids for about, I think the title of the video was it's a Ron Live report. I think it was called 40 years on steroids or something. And he's still very healthy. He keeps track of his health, and he's cautious in the way he approaches his use. So I encourage you to watch that for a little insight into how it can be done safer for a very long time. You push your body and things go pop. This is Demetrios. Shantendo, is 250 milligrams test a week worth your time as a cycle? No. If you're going to do a cycle, I would not recommend a cycle. I wouldn't recommend a dose that's really just replacing your own testosterone, like between 100 and 250. Every time I say this, because yes, some people do go up as high as 250 on their prescribed legitimate TRT. Other people say, no, TRT is only 100. That's what your TRT is. Doesn't mean it's across the board for everybody. Some people would need 150, 200, 250 to get into that high normal range. We're not all the same. We don't have the same reactions to drugs and the same metabolisms and all that. So no, 250 I wouldn't do. 400 would be enough for a first cycle of test that you'd see some good results, and you're not really pushing things too far yet. And after that, you start bumping it up. My first cycle was 250 times 2. So it's 500 milligrams of test a week. Plus I was doing 400 milligrams of Deca. I did very well on that first cycle. Did 2 videos about it. No gay. Gregory Adams again. No way. Your skin looks incredible. Not one wrinkle. You're aging awesome. I have wrinkles. You want to see? Look at that. Ooh, terrible. I know. Some Botox would take care of that, but I don't want to do any Botox. Samson, I've always wondered what in the form of supplements or exercise that can increase connective tissue size and strength. I mean, strength training does increase the cross-sectional diameter of your tendons, your ligaments, all that. It does they get thicker and stronger, but it just never keeps pace with the muscles. That's the problem. They don't have the capability of growth that the muscles do. So maybe your biceps can go from, this makes sense, from this big, maybe this is like a 10-inch bicep to a 20-inch bicep. Okay. People have done that. People have gone from a 10-inch bicep over years to a 20-inch, I should say, upper arm, the bicep and the tricep. But I don't think a tendon is ever going to be able to go from this size to that size. I just don't believe, they don't have much blood supply in there. They just don't have, it's not the type of tissue that really grows like muscle tissue. It's a whole other connective tissue. Is very tough, very, very limited blood supply. So yeah, that's why those injuries heal so much slower. Zijemi, oh boy, I can't read your name, sir. Zijemi Giacchilli, hello, which body part is your favorite to train? Used to be legs. I used to love for years and years. Leg day would be like, how heavy can I go? How far past failure can I go? How much pain can I endure? I used to go torture myself on leg day, and I built some pretty damn big legs. At Ron Harris Muscle, you can see all the pictures. At Ron Harris Muscle. But I would say it's back now. I love training back because it's a never-ending challenge. It's a work in progress. My back is pretty good. It's not great, but it's been getting steadily better over the years as I'm figuring out different angles and always trying to figure out how to get a better contraction. What if I have my hands a little bit this way instead of that way? What if I pull in this direction or that direction? There's so many angles you can come at your back from. There's so many different exercises. You could use barbell, dumbbell, machines, cables. Oh man, I mean, you could easily do 500 back workouts and none of them would be exactly the same. So I love back training now. Bartley Weaver. Bartley is a former state trooper, professional eater. Isn't that what they call him? They do you got to eat like 1,000 hot dogs in 2 seconds or something. He is also a classic physique pro. Bartley asking, is MD going to be at the Boston Pro? Come on, Bart. You know we are. Come on. Of course we are. Definitely, because I live out just outside of Boston. So Hector, our video guy, is going to come up from Nashville. I'll be there, and we'll get all the action. It's going to be a great show. I'm so psyched there's a pro show in Boston. Outwork everyone. Would you recommend Louis Simmons 300 rep band exercise to help strengthen ligaments and tendons? I don't know anything about it, but it sounds legit to me. I know Louis Simmons is very knowledgeable. Produced many world record breaking champions at his gym, the Westside Barbell in Ohio. So I don't know anything about it, but I'd put stock in pretty much anything Louis Simmons recommends. Barry Rims, favorite place you have visited in the world? I have not been to a lot of places. It's pretty sad. I need to get out and travel. Hopefully I don't have to wait till I'm retired. So I don't have a lot of places. I've been to England. I like that. I haven't been to anywhere else in Europe. I've only been to England. I need to see Europe. I really want to see Italy, Greece, France, Russia. I'd like to go to China, Japan, all those places. Australia. Probably will end up going to Australia. My daughter has been married since 2016 to a great young guy from Australia. He's from Sydney. She's been there twice. We do plan on going back there once at some point in the future when he goes back to visit his family. We're going to tag along. Been all over the Caribbean. Been to Mexico many times. Central America. Never been to South America. David M. I'm 28. Would it be weird to ask a doctor what my test levels are? No. He's your doctor. Guys, doctors work for you. They do. Don't be afraid to ask your doctors anything or tell them anything. They work for you. No, whatever you want done, testing. And if they give you a hard time or they're judgmental, you go to find another doctor. It's your body. BPT. I don't answer any questions about these things. I have no idea what you're talking about. But you can read in the live chat. Samson is recommending. I don't even know what that is. Is that a peptide BPC 157? So read that. Greg Adams, do you spend much time stretching? Jay Cutler says he has 20 minutes a day after cardio. I do it after cardio. I don't do 20 minutes. I'd say it's between 5 and 10 minutes. If I didn't do it, my hips would be so tight and locked up, I'd walk like hunched over like an old man. So I have to stretch out my lower back, my hips, especially my hips. I stretch out my quads, my hams. don't really do any upper body stretching. I stretch them a little bit when I train. But yeah, I would definitely recommend stretching. I wish I'd done more of it when I was younger. I probably have more mobility now than I do. Shantendo, best painkiller for tendon and ligament injury. I mean, I'm not going to recommend like Oxycontin or something or fentanyl, but I mean, the thing I would worry about with painkillers is you don't want to train on them because then you can't feel the pain and you could be injuring yourself even worse. You get a much worse injury because you trained through the pain because you didn't feel the pain and you might have stopped at this rep or that rep, but you didn't feel the pain. So you kept going and pop goes the muscle. So I really can't recommend. I mean, most people will just use an over-the-counter thing like Advil or Tylenol. I know people go hardcore and they go into the Percocets and stuff like that, but obviously that's not a good idea to be on prescription painkillers all the time. It wreaks havoc with your liver. It's just not a healthy thing to do. Sean Roberts says all peptides, and the only ones I think help with any injury is CJC 1295 and ipamorelin. Yeah, I've heard good things about these. I haven't tried them. I don't know much about them, so that's why I don't answer those questions. Fish oil is great for tendons. Yeah. Dimitrios, who hit Crete, Greece, you hit me up. Yeah. I definitely have to hit up Dr. Touliatos, my man in Athens. We do a show every week, Ask Dr. Testosterone. If you go to the video that we posted Tuesday morning, you can post some questions on there for the doctor. Great answers, especially PEDs. He's very knowledgeable, and we do that show. We record every Monday morning, so you still have time to get some questions in for the next show. Increases blood flow, so some evidence can help. I think he's talking about fish oil. Demetrios, the MDs don't have a clue. Endocrinologists, primary care, not a clue. Yeah, doctors in general, they're not educated on these things, on PEDs, and what we're doing as bodybuilders, it has no bearing. There's no reason they would need to know all these things for us because we're just we're outliers. We're a niche group of people that lifts weights and eats a bunch of food. A lot of us take drugs just to make our muscles bigger and look leaner and look more muscular. But doctors are worried about sick people, and they got offices full of people with diabetes and heart problems and COVID and this and that. So we're like the bodybuilders, like the least of their concerns. So I understand why they're dopey. I shouldn't say dopey. Ignorant about a lot of the concerns that we have. J-Dog, hey Ron, do stretch after snow shoveling? No, we had this last storm. We set the record. My town set the record for the entire East Coast last Saturday, 30.9 inches. But it was a light, fluffy snow, so it wasn't that bad. When the snow is heavy, like sometimes we're getting a lot of snow and then it turns to rain, and now it's, oh my God, every shovel full of snow is like 40 pounds. And I got to throw it over my fence into the neighbor's yard and heave it over a pile of snow. And that's when my shoulders get jacked up, my lower back. But yeah, this one was pretty easy. Gregory Adams, I like Epsom salt bath for sore muscles. I've heard a lot of good things about sauna too. I really hate intense heat, so I don't go in the sauna. I don't even know if my gym has a sauna. That's how uninterested I am. I think it does, but I'm not sure. And I've been going there for like 4 years now, 5 years. I don't even know if it has a sauna. It might have a steam room or a sauna. I see people come out in towels, but I don't know if they just took a shower. Anyway. What's your thoughts? Marvin, what are your thoughts on alcohol? Will it ruin your progress? It could. How much are you drinking? Are you drinking every day? Are you binge drinking like every weekend? I remember my first year of college, I went to University of California, Santa Barbara. Boy, was it a party school. Whew, they had some parties. Every weekend was a party at that place. And I was drinking heavily every weekend. And this was when I was really getting into bodybuilding. I had just bought a couple books. I was getting the magazines. I was 18 years old. I was all gung-ho about bodybuilding. I noticed when I was hungover, my workout sucked. I was like weaker. I felt nauseated. I couldn't get a good pump. And so I quit drinking. And I didn't drink again. I quit drinking at 18. I had started very young. I started when I was like 10 or 11, occasionally drinking. My junior high years, like were 13, 14, I was drinking about every weekend. High school, I drank like every weekend. But I quit at 18. And I didn't really come back to drinking until, like I was 40. And I drink maybe one weekend a month. Sometimes I'll go a few months without drinking. Sometimes I'll drink a couple weekends every month for a couple months. There's no rhyme or reason to it. But yeah, it can definitely lower your testosterone, increase your estrogen. It's a lot of empty calories. And like I said, if you're hungover, it's hard to have good workouts when you're hungover. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. You feel like dog shit, you're not going to be training that well. But yeah, in moderation, everything in moderation, I think is fine. Gregory Ulisse, my man in Canada. Greg Ulisse, IFBB Pro. What's up, Ron? So with the addition of Flex and Sean, I hope, who will be kicked out of the top 10 at the Olympia this year? You really think Clarita's going to go open? I don't think he is. I think he wants that 212 title back. I think he wants to take it back from Lunsford. Who will be knocked out of the top 10 at the Olympia? You know, you got guys aging out of the sport already. You got a lot of these guys are in their 40s now. So it's hard to say. Drinking makes you eat more too, says J-Dog. Yeah, drinking makes you eat more. Obviously, pot makes you eat more, but drinking doesn't make you want to eat just like pot. It doesn't make you want to eat clean food. It doesn't make you want to eat a chicken breast and a plain baked potato. It makes you want to eat, like, you know, greasy burgers, fries, pizza, you know, fried dough, donuts, shit like that. Bad food. It's personal. That's what I find. So that's where it could be a problem. Yeah, I mean, how many of you guys, when you've been drinking, it's late at night, what are you looking for at like 2 a.m.? You're looking for like burgers, fries, pizza, greasy food. It actually helps settle your stomach too. JJ Star, do you or anyone have experience with red light therapy? No, my gym hasn't. There's all kind of claims being made. I don't. You know, I'd be interested to hear from people positive or negative experiences with it. Did it work for them? And guys, if I don't get to anything, you can leave questions here in the comments. I'll get to those. You know, I won't be typing up a storm, but I'll get to all of them. Samson again. Saunas and steam rooms and very hot baths have great benefit to the body, Ron. Definitely add to your recovery routine. I'm always like pressed for time though, but I got, you know, I'm doing weights, then I do cardio, and then I got to stretch, I make my shake, eat my Cocoa Puffs. I could do it sometimes. I should find out if my gym has a sauna. I've literally would just have to like poke my head around the corner in the locker room, which I've never done in all these years I've been going there. How ridiculous is that? Sean Tendo, I need to lose 20 pounds of fat. Any ideas? I'll have to do a whole other show on fat loss. But, you know, eat less, move more is the basic. You want to burn more, expend more calories than you're taking in. You have to create a caloric deficit to lose fat. So eat less, eat cleaner, stay away from junk, fried foods, sugary stuff, white flour, white bread. Stay away from, you know, all the bad foods. Eat very clean. Do cardio. It doesn't matter if it's fasted or not. It's still burning calories. Yeah, it's not rocket science. Garrett Luce, do you take 50 mg D-ball all at once or spread out? I would spread it out. So if your tabs, I don't know what you have for tabs. If you have 50 milligram tabs, I would get a pill splitter, cut them in half, and I would do 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. Because all these orals have a pretty short half-life. They're in and out of your system quickly. So you don't want to take a large dose all at once. I've known people who would do like 10 milligrams 5 times a day, like with every meal. Another thing that Dr. Tuliaus has advocated is not to swallow them, but to let them sit under your tongue and dissolve. If they're very hard tablets, I would bite them into a few pieces first, but that avoids a lot of the going through the digestive system because it goes directly into that gland, the buccal gland under your tongue. So yeah, I would break that up. J-Dog, my wife does red light home with a red reptile bulb. She's help. Yeah, reptile bulb. You got to buy those special bulbs. My son had a chameleon at one point years ago. God, it was a pain in the ass to take care of that thing. It didn't live long. It lived like 6 months. The hell was its name? Henry. But it was a legit chameleon. Thank you so much, Karen. All right, guys. Man, I've been yapping a long time. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below, guys. If you like the video, please give it that thumb, smash, click, whatever. Appreciate you guys watching so much. Appreciate you being subscribers to channels. If you're not, please subscribe. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.